Hey, Saturday night, April 27th, 2024. So today was a big milestone. My little baby girl at just under 4 months, a week before her 4-month birthday, has started flipping over on her stomach, on her back. As I understand, this is like a between a 4 and 6 month milestone, so she's like a week early. She's on the early end of one of the major milestones, so I was pretty happy about that. I mean, she'd been showing signs actually the last week. You can see here, yeah, she's asleep. You have to keep her asleep by walking. It's one thing when you undertake fatherhood, you're gonna understand you're gonna walk a lot. It's the only way the baby stays sleeping is by walking. I guess some people take shortcuts and put their kids in the car and drive them around, but like I said, the car seat can restrain movements. So, yeah, just walking around the apartment complex today. I wish we had these kind of apartment communities in America. Usually, if you see buildings like this in America, they're like projects, and people are throwing each other out of the windows and shooting each other, and but here in Ukraine, it's like kids playing soccer, couples going for a walk. This whole apartment complex is mostly IT people and people who own small business. They're like shop owners, or like one of my neighbors owns a tile store. So another neighbor owns that secret supermarket. I think I've walked you guys through there. I've shown you where that is. So have a mix, mostly IT though. Mostly people working in the IT companies. A lot of self-employed contractors. They get a project in America, like I had, and I have it still, but it's only a couple hours a week now. So I'm looking for something new. The company I'm working through, they're also trying to find me something new, but it's been slow with IT, but it's just timed right. I need this time off anyway to be a good father. That's how we got this milestone. You got to spend time with your kids. Just because they're infants and sleeping a lot doesn't mean they're not learning. So when they are awake, you got to redo them, play classical music, and there's a whole bunch of exercises you do. You got to like touch their feet and hands, together, and you gotta, roll them, and put them on their stomach, give them stuff to look at, like black and white pictures. They don't see color, so you got to use these high contrast pictures and everything. So, yeah, it's really nice when they're sleeping. I haven't been able to do my Reddit. I want to do this Reddit live stream. I mean, the initial goal is every night, and 4 nights a week. It looks like it's just going to be Sunday nights, and that's probably most practical, because when I do it at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock in Ukraine, I can catch some European people, but miss the American market completely. And I guess the target audience would be mostly European, because I can't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, through 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning to do a live stream to catch the US audience. So I guess I'd be targeting Europe, and it's going to be summer in Europe, and most people in Europe in the summertime are outside, because it's like usually most of Europe we have crappy weather most of the year, except Southern Europe, but Northern Europe and Central Europe, the weather is crappy, 9 months a year. It's like the Midwest in America. So you make the best of it when you're outside, best of it in the summertime. Yeah, so you can see we have like a rec area here where you can do pull-ups. There's like pull-up bar and everything. So yeah, I'm not sure why we don't have this kind of high density housing in America. I mean, these apartments are like $300 a square meter to build when you build at scale, which is like $28 a square foot without the renovation. And then when you do the renovation, now I did a high-end renovation, so I spent close to $600 a square meter, or $55, $60 a square foot, which by American standards is still cheap. I mean, in America, it's like, can be upwards of over $100 to even up to $300 a square foot to do a really nice renovation in the U.S. But if there was like KB Homes or some building companies in America built buildings like this, I mean, you'll see more of this. You know, as I'll walk through the complex. Just look behind me. You know, they could solve a lot of this housing crisis in America. You know, I mean, they could clear away some of these McMansions and build a couple of these complexes here and have all the supermarkets, kindergarten, you know, learn from Ukraine a little bit. Everything like within walking distance. It would just curve all this excess consumption we have and bring the inflation under control. And then the economy would start booming. Instead of people wasting their money on house payments and fixing the roof, they'd have more money for like vacations or probably just ordering crap on Amazon. I guess this would be good for Amazon. People would turn, you know, I guess knowing people in America, they would just fill their houses with crap, you know, a lot of crap. Or, you know, they could actually save money and buy stocks or something like that. But yeah, this, like I said, this is what's set me free. You know, I used to live I lived in a couple different traditional houses in America, you know, in Virginia Beach and Chicago and all that, and always like problems, you know, problems with the roof, problems with the windows, problems with the doors, problems with water getting in the basement. You know, it's just crazy, you know. And you can see there's some other benefits of living in high density housing here in Ukraine, you know. But yeah, here you can see. And you know, there's like playgrounds and soccer fields and everything here. I mean, just to angle the camera here. So yeah, you can see all this. It's really well done. It's done in good taste. Like you can see behind me here, there's like a whole playground here. And this is all like modeled on German style stuff. And I'll just swing around here. There's another complex across the street. This is Our Room Building Company. So I live in an Avalon apartment complex. I would highly recommend them. And Our Room is the other competent builder. I think the owner of Our Room is German or something. I heard rumors. I lived in one of his buildings before. You know, one of the first places I lived in Lviv was an Our Room building. And it was very well done, very good community. You know, we have a bit of issues in our community here. People don't want to spend any money. We pay all these condo fees, and you know, still yet to see some repairs done. But compared to what else you get in Ukraine, this is really good. You know, relatively speaking. But you know, America, they could do this. Like the home builders could do this. They could get some zoning laws changed. But I don't know why when they tried this stuff in the U.S., it all turned into the hood and projects. And here in Ukraine, it's like this is like where you start out. So there's a lot of starter families here. We have some older people here too, like retirees, but mostly it's people just starting out, getting their first property. It appreciates a bit, then they go buy a house out in the suburbs. So we have suburbs in Lviv, and people commute in by car. Here you can get into the city center by bus. You know, there's like bus stops and everything nearby, and supermarkets. There's two really good supermarkets walking distance, and then there's like some markets, just marketplaces, you know, where a bunch, you know, like I've shown you on other videos. Gym is walking distance. So yeah, I mean, the solution to the housing crisis is actually very easy. It's just a matter of will, and people have to set their expectations a little bit differently. And they got to understand that, you know, when you buy one of these single family homes in the US, you got to cut the grass. You got to do all this like stuff that just ties up your time. Here we have like a lot of time to focus on what's important. Taking care of our kid, eating good food, exercise, you know, so you're not getting nickel and dime and taking the car for an oil change and fixing the tires, getting the car aligned. I mean, all that stuff just eats your time. You know, it's better to use that time to work out and to spend time with your kids, spend time with your wife, just walk around, talk to people, you know. So that life in America, that American dream life, can be a bit of a nightmare. And I don't know why people are not demanding more housing like this. And I mean, outside of New York, and you know, I don't know, LA, I guess LA has some places like this, but I don't know why in the mid-sized cities, you know, where they say housing is unaffordable, you know, I mean, this stuff was built like, I imagine in America, if they really wanted to, they could even use robotics and some modular building techniques to put these things up, probably at the same price here in Ukraine. You know, I mean, the Ukrainian construction workers who made this, most of them are like 50 plus old men and, you know, drinking a lot of alcohol. So that, you know, with American productivity, they could probably still nail this for $300 a square meter cost to build. You know, maybe do it for 500, which is still incredibly cheap. I mean, they can be selling these units in the US. Here, these units like sell, you know, in the other buildings, they're selling between $60,000 to $80,000 unfinished. So people like 140 finished. In America, they could probably do it the same. You know, especially they could, if they finish everything and give you some choices, and, you know, get people working with the right tools and in a productive way. I mean, these guys are, you know, you know, the construction techniques. I don't know, there's another building here in the background. We've walked by that one a few times. They're working in a very old-fashioned way, so, you know, what they make up for in cheap labor, they lose in productivity, not having the right tools and the right methods of working, you know. But I think in America it could be done. It could be done in the same price range as here. You know, I don't know about the regulations and everything, but still, it'd be a lot cheaper. And then it would just free up a lot of time. And, you know, like I said, there's a lot of communal expenses are shared. You know, so then it would just free up a lot of people's overhead money. You know, instead of having money to cut the grass and pay for a lawnmower or pay for a lawn service, you know, you would you'd have money for other things, and that would just go in different places in the economy. You know, maybe one person can work and one person stays home with the kids. And then that would have a better effect on the overall mental health in America, and we'd have less shootings, you know, less divorce, less drugs and all that stuff. I mean, that's also why I chose to live here. I wanted to have us be a sole breadwinner and, you know, let my wife spend more time on what's important, you know, instead of just working to have money to pay bills. You know, that's the life I wanted to escape, and the life I did escape. But looks like I said, the road here in Ukraine is a little bit, or the future I should say, is a little bit foggy. So we might have to go back to that life for a little while, but we'll keep our setup here and everything so we can come back. You know, go there and buy, I'll work extra hard and buy more NVIDIA or something, and then hope it goes up, and then come back here one day and open an Indian restaurant with my friend Sergey, you know, have a Ukrainian Indian chef, you know, and everything, and have a place to hang out and what have you. That would be the, I think that would be, you know, I had thought about having a renovation company, hiring guys and stuff, but that would be a good business, put a team together, and that it would be fairly easy to get work, actually. You just put flyers in people's mailboxes and you'll get a hit. But it's very hard. You have to really keep your costs under control. You know, you have to really get these workers to work. It's very people intensive, right? So right now, all the good guys, all the good craftsmen, you can see this new building in the background behind me, you know, they're all in the Army, you know, so it's mostly older guys over 60. There's a bit of a labor shortage here, and finding a reliable team and, you know, being able to bid on a project where you can still make a profit would be a bit hard. So that's why I kind of shied away from construction. Only way I would get into construction now is after the war, when the airport opens, and maybe we can bring a crew from the Philippines or a crew from India and get them legally here, because there'll be a labor shortage, and get them a visa, working visa. And maybe that could work, you know, that they would make more money here than they would make in India, and they would have a road to some kind of Ukrainian or European citizenship that would give them a better life than what they had before. I mean, it's not going to be a glamorous life. You know, business has got to make money too, but we could be competitive. We could work smarter, have the right tools, right techniques, and get through the jobs quicker. renovation projects here. I got a whole series on it in Ukraine. I mean, I did my renovation during COVID, and I got it done. A lot of my neighbors didn't get it done, but it took me like 18 months. It was supposed to take 6 months, but things dragged on for 18 months because of supply, logistics issues, getting workers. But if I could put a crew together of like a plumber, electrician, who also are cross-trained as carpenters, hanging drywall and, so get one master carpenter, one person who's like a plumber, and one person who's an electrician, and then they're all cross-trained in carpentry and flooring and this kind of stuff, who can do tiling and, wood floors. Generally these people, after they've had 5-6 years experience, they can do 2 or 3 things. So they'll do one thing really well, and then they'll be sort of good at another thing. And you get them working right, just like an IT team. You want a small cross-trained team. Instead of having like 20 guys each with one skill, it's better to have like 5 guys with 4 skills each, that know one really well and are good in 3 other things. And, it's better communication. The more people you have, the more communication points you have, and then the more things that can go wrong. So that would be kind of the vision. I'm just trying to think what other skills are needed when you're renovating. So yeah, you need concrete, to do the floor heating. Some of this stuff can be subcontracted out and everything. But yeah, you could actually sub out plumbing and electricity too, but they got to show up on time. That's where your projects go awry, is like waiting for subcontractors. So you want to get as many of these skills in the team as possible. But I think it's possible. You can train people and everything. So yeah. My cousin just messaged me. I wanted to show her the baby and everything, but now the baby's asleep. I want to show her the baby flipping around, flipping over and under. Yeah, so that's also like another idea for what to do in Ukraine, after getting a nice nest egg built up, in the US or in Europe or something, or just keep working in IT until the nest egg is at a good place where it could, do something, try self-employment for a while, and, be able to, pay yourself a salary until things get going. So the other big problem with construction here in Lviv is logistics. Getting stuff from we don't have this epicenter close by, so you'd have to prepare the job site, the day before, get the right materials there and everything. So when the workers show up, they can just get going. They're not sitting around waiting for a delivery. That's another key to getting a renovation done fast, is prepping, cleaning up. So maybe you have some local guys, some teenagers, they do the cleanup at night, get all the debris out, and then bring the stuff from epicenter. So that would be like a unskilled crew. Your skilled crew, yeah, you would need to bring them from abroad, because like here, it's really, when a guy gets too skilled here too, they get a bit cocky as well, or they're running so many jobs. So you want all these people employed, full-time in your company. You pay them above average, but still at a point where you can make a margin. But you got to keep them moving. You want to do, like, the same crew should be able to finish, between, I would say, 4 and 6 apartments a year. It should be taking 2 months. If you do everything right, you can do a renovation in 2 months. But you really have to be there managing and make sure, like I said, job sites prepared, materials are arriving on time. None of these guys are calling out sick. It's realistically, it's probably 3 months, 4 months if you professionally manage. But what you see a lot here, though, is like, I had a special renovation done. I ordered a lot of special materials. That took a long time. Things I had to order and I had to wait. The kitchen, was all custom. I think I've got videos inside my apartment. So and then it was COVID, but realistically, I think it could have been done in 6 or 8 months. But if you get like the team working together really well, you could do something much faster. And after you do a few of them, it just becomes routine. Doing the floor, building a bathroom, all this stuff just becomes routine. That's Yeah, yeah. And as long as you keep the customer, you know, to a certain set of materials, like in a certain price range, it could be just like, yeah, fast moving. So yeah, it would be like, you know, during reconstruction, I would either do a restaurant or do a construction, you know, interior renovation company, and then maybe branch out to, if I could get the right connections and get the right land and get the permits, making a small apartment building. You know, I've always wanted to do that, build a 4-unit building, live in one and rent out the others, and that way, you know, that way the living situation turns from like a expense to a, you know, or expense sink or a cost to a source of revenue. That's the American dream wherever you go. Uh-oh, she's waking up. I gotta get going. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.